Howdy! Look at this, it's Genshin Impact, wow! It's a game that isn't Warframe. So today we're gonna be looking at Faruzan. I didn't really plan on doing a Genshin video, but I don't know, I'm bored and Faruzan's great, so here we are. I wanted to do a DPS Faruzan, and maybe someone that wants to make Faruzan work as a DPS can get some level of information out of this that is valuable, so maybe it won't be totally worthless. Faruzan isn't typically intended to be a DPS character, but she's perfectly viable as one. Now, unfortunately, she is heavily reliant on her constellations to make it work as a DPS, or make her work as a DPS. You can try to do it without it. You can make her work as a DPS while not as effective as one might like, as long as you have at least like C1. C2 would help a lot, but C1 is the biggest one in my opinion to make her into a DPS character, rather than just off-field support for animal characters. So, let me see, where to start? That's the real question, is where to start. I guess with her talents. So, Faruzan has a pretty typical auto attack, right, as a bow user. You're never really going to use this much. She's so smug, though. I love how smug and bratty she is. She's amazing. I love her. Now, her skill, you do a little animo attack in front of you, right? A little area. It's directly in front of you, and then you get 2 charges if you're at C1. If you're at C0, you only get 1 charge. But your next charge shot will charge 60% faster, and it will shoot this little vortex, right? This vortex will pull enemies in slightly, and it will deal another instance of AoE animo damage. The cooldown on your skill is only 6 seconds, which is quite nice. So being able to have 2 from your C1 means you can spam this quite fast, right? If I do this as fast as I can, I only had 2.5 seconds left by the time I was done shooting. And that's if I'm shooting as fast as possible. You can always just go into like an auto attack or whatever. And you'll see that it's not totally worthless to do that in a minute once we go over her C6 and stuff, but that's the gist of it right now, right? Just pretty decent damage. So this is, I have her triple crown, so keep that in mind. This is a high investment DPS Faruzan. So at level 13, because she's C6 and triple crown, the skill does 316.2% skill damage, and then the pressurized collapse, the vortex it makes on the charge shot, does 229.5%, which is pretty good. That's really good damage. If you're close enough to hit the enemy with the skill, then you're going to be able to get almost 800% damage out of one skill cast. That's really freaking good. Then you have her ultimates. Her ultimate here, I'll cast it real quick. She makes this little thing, right? This device, and it goes around in every AoE, or like area it attacks. It does an AoE in a weird triangle shape. It debuffs enemies' hits, making them less resistant to animo damage. So that's nice. The base duration isn't that long, it's only 12 seconds, but with her C2 it goes up to 18 seconds. It also gives you bonus animo damage and has a quite nice multiplier. At level 13 the multiplier is 802.4. The animo damage bonus you get is 38.3, both of those scale with level. It has a 4-second duration for when you're buffed by it, right? Every time it explodes, and you don't have to be within the radius to get the buff. So you'll have the buff to your animo damage the whole time this is out. And since it lasts 4 seconds and the duration of the ability itself is 18 and has a cooldown 20, if you get your energy back in time, this will have 100% uptime. Now the animo resist decrease does only work if the AoE of the ultimate hits the enemy, and it also lasts 4 seconds. It does not scale with level. It's 30% animo resist decrease. But there is a way to fix that, so you aren't going to have to worry about having your ultimate hit the enemy very often. So her first talent is the one that makes it so that it reduces the cooldown of her charge attack by 60% when she has the effects from her skill. Yeah, when Faruzan is in the manifest skill state, which is, you know, after casting your skill, and you have those little things next to her. Oh, I just fucking brain farted so bad. Created by Wind Realm of Nasamjinin, I keep butchering that pronunciation, the amount of time taken to charge a shot is decreased by 60%, and she can apply the Wind's secret state, Perfidious Wind's Bale, to opponents who are hit by the vortex created by the pressurized collapse. And that is the debuff that makes enemies have less animo resist. So every time an enemy is hit by that, while the ultimate is out, it's also going to apply the debuff, so you don't need the ultimate itself to ever hit anything, except on the initial cast for the big damage. Her second talents, when a character is affected by the Wind's secret ways, Prayerful Wind's benefit, deal animo damage using normal charged plunging attacks, elemental skills, or elemental bursts to opponents. They will gain the Hurricane Guard effect. This damage will be increased based on 32% of Faruzan's base attack. One instance of Hurricane Guard can occur once every 0.8 seconds. This damage bonus will be cleared after Prayerful Wind's benefit expires or after the effect is triggered once. It's not that important. Basically, if you're dealing animo damage, whether it be Faruzan herself or teammates, it will get an extra like attack increase or damage increase based off of Faruzan's attack. But with the almost full second cooldown and it's only 32% of her base attack, it's very small. You're almost never gonna notice the extra damage. It's practically irrelevant. Then there's her exploration passive, but that doesn't really matter. So her constellations are, like I said, the first one gives you 2 of the hurricane arrows after your skill instead of 1. Her C2 makes your ult elemental burst last 50% longer, going from 12 seconds to 18 seconds. It's plus 6 seconds. Her C3 gives plus 3 levels to her skill. Her C4 is very nice because she has really big energy problems, but this helps fix it, or at least mitigate it to some degree. The vortex created by your pressurized collapses, when it hits an enemy, it restores 2 energy. And for every enemy hit after the first one, it will restore an additional 0.5 energy. So if you hit 5 enemies, you get 4 energy. If you hit 1 enemy, you get 2 energy. If you hit like 3 enemies, you're going to get 3 energy. So it's just extra energy, especially when you're spamming the crap out of her skill as a DPS. It's going to proc very often, so very nice. Her C5 adds 3 levels to her burst, which is nice because it increases dang it, what's the word I'm looking for? The amount of damage it does. The scalar, I don't know, you know what I mean. It makes it do more damage, and it also gives a slight bonus to how much animo damage your burst gives to you and your teammates. And then the last one is oh so juicy. It makes it so that not only do you get all of the benefits you already get from your burst, but then you get 40% crit damage to animo damage while it's active, you or teammates. And it also makes it so once every 3 seconds, it will create a pressurized collapse on the enemy's location when you deal damage to them. And this is separate from the pressurized collapses created from yourself using your charge shot after your skill. So this just means more damage, and because of your C4, it means even more energy. And it also means you get more grouping, you also get the crit damage bonus. It's just so nice for your damage. So that's why it's really important to have as many constellations as you can, because C1 is double the hurricane arrows, so way more damage as a DPS. C2 gives you much higher uptime on our burst. C3 and C5 are just much more damage. C4 helps her energy issues a lot. And C6 gives her big PP damage. It also, if you're using her as a support, which is what she's actually intended to be, makes it so that her skill will actually apply while she's off field, because this works when off field, making it so she can generate particles more easily, and it also makes it so you can consistently have the enemy less resistant to animo if you aren't her on field using her own hurricane arrows. So what you would normally play her with is like a Xiao, right? Xiao, or if you're really weird, you could do weird in a good way. You could do DPS Sucrose, or who's another animo DPS? I mean, you could make Lynette a DPS. You get the gist though, right? She's meant to be a dedicated animo support. Like Goro is a dedicated Geo Death support. Or Sara is a dedicated Electro support that mostly just works with Raiden, but she can be used for other characters. I digress. So, why make her a DPS? Well, she actually has really good modifiers for her damage, and she is really, really fun to use. Seeing the hurricane arrows everywhere, plus I like making characters DPS, especially when they're not supposed to be. She's also extremely smug and bratty and cute, and I love her. Now, if we're going to be using her for damage, the most damage we'll be getting out of her will be from her hurricane arrows. Not the arrow itself, but rather the, the vortex effect it creates, which counts as skill damage. So charged attack damage doesn't really help her here, so like 4-piece Wanderer set, not that great. And it also means the 4-piece of, where is it? The piece that people use on Wanderer. That's this one. 4-piece Desert Pavilion isn't that great for her either. You could use it, but it's not amazing. So what I do is I have 2-piece Gladiator and 2-piece Viridescent, because then I get a bit of animo damage and I get attack percent, because attack is nice, and you can always get a ton of other damage from other characters, especially if you're using what is her best support easily, Farina. Farina gives lots of damage. But you can mix up 2 pieces, like you could have 2-piece this, and then any 2-piece where they're both attack percentage. You could have the 2-piece from Viridescent and the 2-piece from Desert Pavilion, because it's also animo damage bonus. You can go pretty much any sort of set that's going to give you some like decent stats. That's all that really matters. You could go for 4-piece Golden Troop. It's actually really good if she's off field. It's her best off field, like as a support sub damage, sub DPS. It's the best artifact set to use on her. And it's not a horrible option on field either, because it is still going to give you 45% more elemental skill damage. But since I'm already getting a ton of damage from Farina, and even though a lot of our damage comes from the skill, we are still doing damage with the charge attack itself, as well as a big hit from our ult. So I prefer this, and it's easier to get good substats on these 2 sets because they're old, especially Gladiator, right? And broken sets are a lot easier than 4-piece sets. Now, we obviously have attack percent, because that's the best thing to use here if you don't need energy, unless you're using Bennett. I do not like Bennett. I refuse to use Bennett. So, wow, we lagged for a second there, but I think we're fine. Yes, we seem to be fine. And we're back. Okay, wow, that was embarrassing. I lagged out because my internet's annoying. Anyways, back to where we were. Yes, I don't like Bennett. He's really good with her, but I don't like him, so no. We're going attack percent, so she has good attack, animo damage, crit damage, go crit rate if you need crit rate more than crit damage. Just try to have a nice ratio. And then I'd say my substats are pretty decent, right? So flower, feather, timepiece, goblet, and headpiece. You can see I've got pretty good stats on her. I am using the Skyward Harp at Refinement 1. It gives very high base attack, which is nice. It gives some crit rate, crit damage. It's nice. There's better bows to use for sure. Almost isn't the worst bow ever, but it's not great. You could use Thundering Pulse, I guess, though the normal attack damage is worthless on her. 4-star options would be Ibis Piercer. You could use this. It's, again, not like optimal or anything. The one on the current battle pass from Fontaine, that bow would actually be pretty good on her, I think. If you're doing a lot of elemental reactions, you could use Stringless. Stringless isn't worthless. Favonius if you want to use her as a support and you need more energy. Just anything that's going to give you some decent like attack or crit stats is always going to be good, because that's the case with most DPS characters. And yes, so that's it for Faruzan herself. She does scale attack percent. Here's my stats: 116.2 energy recharge, 61.6 ammo damage, 75.7 crit rate, and 213 crit damage with 2008 attacks. So pretty good, I'd say. 4 supports on her. Wait a second, I don't have all my pieces on my Layla. That's not right. What's wrong here? Hold up. Oh, wait a minute. Something ain't right. I'm sure you know that meme. It's great. Let's put all of these back on. There we go. So I like Layla because the shielder is very nice, so you don't get knocked around while you're trying to use your charge attacks. Because, well, you know, it sucks, and then you'll get hit, and then you can't damage, and then you take damage, meaning you'll die. Layla's really nice. Any shielder works. Zhongli would work great, but I don't have Zhongli, so Layla's what I run. And with the team I'll be using, it'll actually let us freeze the enemy, so that's nice too. 4-piece Millith also will give us an extra 20% attack for our Faruzan, so that's extra damage. I've at C4, 8s, 9, 8 talents, and Skyward Blade, just because it gives energy recharge. You could just run Favonius, but I don't have another one leveled up right now. Then I have Jean. Jean is very nice. You don't need any of her constellations because we're not normal attacking, so this doesn't really help us at all. But I do have her at C2. I have her at 8, 8, 9. You don't really need her talents leveled up other than her burst to get more healing. She'll be giving us all the healing we need. 4-piece Viridescent is also worthless here. It doesn't affect ammo damage, only swirl damage. So don't run that. It's just what I have her on right now. It doesn't really matter though. Favonius to get lots of energy. And the reason she's here is because she's a great healer to pair with Farina, and she'll also give us more energy, right? Her being Animo plus she has Favonius will be a great battery for Faruzan. And then we get the Animo resonance or whatever when you have like 2 people of the same element in the party, which reduces your skill cooldown by 5%. Not a lot, but it's an extra 1/3 of a second off her skill, which can be nice. Plus it reduces the skill cooldown for everyone, not just Faruzan, right? So Farina and Layla as well, and Jean. Then lastly we do have Farina, because she's amazing. She gives so much damage. She does a ton of damage. She's applying Hydro. I do have her signature weapon, and I do have her at C2. You don't need these. It will be a massive damage increase, yes, but you can get by without. I'm going to show team without my Farina since she's C2 and signature weapon, just to show that it's not necessary, but I want to show it with her first. And then here are my relics on her in case you're interested to see, yada yada yada. I do have energy problems with this, so you're probably better off running Favonius or anything with energy recharge on your Farina, because otherwise not having your burst up when you need it is a real pain in the ass. I would love a Favonius leveled up, but again, I'd only have 1 leveled up and it's on my Jean, so it is what it is right now. Now, I gotta get my energy back, because I used it showing you what it does, what her burst does, and I didn't have the energy for the other characters I need as well. So we're just gonna find an enemy, whack the crap out of them, get our energy, and then we're gonna go fight a boss, and you can see the big PP damage. I'm thinking, which boss should we do? I wanted to say Raiden, but Raiden can be annoying at times. A normal boss in the overworld would probably die too quick though to really get a good idea of how much damage she does. Dang, we still, yeah, see the energy problems? That only gave us like half of our energy bar. So if you have Bennett, which again, I don't like him, but if you run Bennett, then I would suggest going with an energy recharge rope, because that would help a lot. Or having Favonius on Farina, because then she generates some more particles. That would also help quite a bit. Voila! And we have our burst. So now the question is, who do we want to fight? Trounce Domain. Oh, hey, Scattered Ruins, you can do this early now. What? I didn't realize that. Oh, I could have gotten the weekly boss materials, and I didn't even realize it because I haven't done the quest for that boss yet. Oh well, it is what it is. So there's the Narwhal. That boss is horrible for testing. There's this guy. I don't like that boss very much. I mean, I suppose we could do this boss. Raiden, Wanderer, or Ajda? You know what? We'll just do Raiden. It can be a little wonky, but I think we should be fine. We'll be going in solo, of course. And we'll be doing it with this team that I showed. Afterwards, I'll try a team without Farina, so that you can see that she isn't necessary. Do this. Skill on Farina. Ult on Farina. I should have skilled and then ulted on Jean, but oh well. Look at this. I don't care that she's about to nuke me. It's irrelevant. Dang, see, if my Layla had a thicker shield or I had Zhongli, that would help a lot. Ooh, I'm about to get down because I suck at this game. I mean, honestly, it shows how good Faruzan is because I'm so bad at the game and I'm doing this easily. I think I can pull it off with a different support just fine instead of Farina if I don't suck as much. She works very, very well as a support, or not, sorry, as a DPS. I haven't done the Abyss yet. I would do floor 12 with the Abyss, but I haven't done it yet. And I suck at cutting and editing stuff, so we're not gonna like try to go through the whole Abyss right now, or me go do it and then edit all of the parts out that are on floor 12, so. Oh well. Now, if you aren't going to run Farina, then you're still going to want somebody else that can increase your damage or add in elemental reactions. Even though that Raiden is a boss, right? Normally, if I'm fighting normal enemies, having the freeze is really nice, though, between Layla and Farina. Mona's a good option. She's not terrible, especially in groups. She can be nice. If I'm fighting a big group of enemies and not a boss, Venti fits in well, or Sucrose as well, to be able to pull enemies in. That's not Sucrose, that's Rosaria. Sucrose. Bennett, obviously, like I said, but if you don't like Bennett like me, then, well, you know, you're not going to want to run him. Let me think, who was the other one that I like to run? There was another character that works well as a support. And I can't remember who it was. Was it Fish? I mean, if you're proccing lots of elemental reactions, Fischl actually fits in very nicely here. And Fischl is best girl. Okay, I love Faruzan, but Fischl best girl. So let's say we add in Fischl. And then for a shielder, instead we could go for Kirara. Where is Kirara? Now will be, but then we can't swirl Electro because, I mean, I think we'll have enough Electro to swirl it. And then we're also getting tons of damage because of Electric and Dendro, right? And Fischl doing all of that. So this should work just fine. Now, let me show my Kiara build. Wait, I don't have a... What is going on with my Kiara? Something ain't right. Dendro damage. HP. Here, we'll just slap this on. So here's what I've got on my Kiara. And this weapon. Here is her stats. Higher ER would probably be good, but oh well. Now my Fischl is pretty stacked for the most part, right? So here's her relics as well. This is the weapon, R1 Thundering Pulse, though I can switch this out. Let's go with Stringless instead right now. C6 and C1. I don't think that's asking too much. Now I'm thinking this will work just fine. I'm pretty sure we'll be fine. And remember, I suck ass. Oh, I just remembered. We don't have all of our abilities at the start. So hang on, we're gonna wanna farm energy up and then fight Raiden. That way we can actually cast all of our abilities at the start, because that would make a pretty big difference, I'd say. No, don't teleport away from me, that's mean! Get some healing in because we can easily... Oh, wow. She just... I did not time that well. But I did that because we can easily get energy back on Jean. Come on, one more skill and we're big chillin'. Leave domain. Quickly before I die. I guess you wouldn't have to run Jean here. You could run a different support. Because we don't need Jean as a good healer to pair with Farina to get our fanfare stacks up. So we could replace her with another healer. Because not having healer is always a royal pain in the ass. Yao Yao would actually fit quite nicely. No, well then we'd have too much. Too much Dendro. And too much Dendro is bad. Cookie could work. Whoever you want. I'm gonna stick with Jean though because, well, she's a battery. And I don't have an ER piece on my Faruzan. Alright, here we go. Ah, we got this. I'm thinking about the order to go in. Okay. We'll do that. Then we'll do that. Then we'll do this. 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 And now we'll go in. Are we going to be able to one-cycle her? I'm not quite sure that we will. It's going decent so far. No! I hate when she does that attack. It's the worst one. Especially because the other one just puts her standing still doing some weird shit, whereas that one that she just did, it screws us over quite badly. We can almost kill her in one cycle though. Yeah, you can see. If I think if I didn't suck and if we didn't get extremely unlucky, we probably could have one cycled her. But I'm sure that shows that Faruzan does plenty of damage here. A world boss to show that it absolutely decimates them would be this guy down here. I don't even know, Matrix weird guy that has long name, I don't remember. That, yeah. What? ASIM or something like that is an acronym? Close enough. I like to test stuff on this boss because it's a pretty decent boss. It has a very open and easy phase at the start to hit him in. I never farmed energy up, but it is what it is. I think we'll restart him after I actually have energy up. Because you don't want to, it doesn't really matter to reset his phase, right? Like, to use the electric to take him down. I mean, obviously you have to if you're normally fighting him, but I don't want to use all my bursts when he's just going to die immediately during that phase. So now it's going to work. Now, yes. I doubt anybody's even going to watch this, but I'm doing it anyways because I can. This, cast this. Ooh, I'm quiet because I'm focusing, because I have to, because I'm bad. Look at that, beautiful. No Farina, no C2 signature weapon Farina, and I took the 5-star weapon off of my official as well, right? 4-star character with a 4-star weapon. Yeah, they're C6, but it's official. I mean, she's from base game. 5-star character whose 2 constellations literally have no effect on her gameplay right now. Literally worthless artifact set for her with a 4-star weapon. 4-star quest weapon on a 4-star character that's C1, and I didn't cast her burst there, so her C1 did nothing with suboptimal relics at best. And a fairly decent built Faruzan. Yes, she's a very juicy, very delicious, very effective DPS. And I have used her to 3-star the Spiral Abyss several times. She's quite good, right? Floor 12 of the Spiral Abyss. I think everyone should try a DPS Faruzan. She's very fun, and I love her. She's such an adorable little brat. Koo-foo-foo all the way. That's it, I guess. Yay. Adios.